Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the sequel of videos. This one we're covering the actual style of treatment, okay, the use of the technology that we have. We have touching on the actual benefits of that specific treatments, and then we have talking a bit more about the importance of your breathing and just dissecting little things like your rib cage, cranial pump, and various things that we do here that people often ask, why do we do it? We've spoken about before the various microcurrent and FSM treatments in which we now are the sole distributor in Ireland for. The methods we've been designing over the years have been a combination of many types of therapies, trial and error, seeing what works and what doesn't work, and removing anything that clearly doesn't work. Some of the very basic benefits, obviously, of getting the microcurrent done, is going to be the ability to break down scar tissue. Physically able to read the scar tissue in a specific area, breaking it down layer by layer, as I said in previous videos, can be set to very different frequencies, wanting to attack nerves, wanting to attack fascia, wanting to attack, even like in this style of treatment, one of the biggest benefits is the attacking of a congealed area in regards that has been diagnosed as arthritis. Okay, especially an arthritic joint in the cervical neck has just made, an unbelievable difference to people. In no way would you be able to manipulate the joint due to the tension relationship with the tissue around it. And then from clearing all of this, it's just phenomenal the results we're able to get with much older individuals. At the end of the day, we spoke before about realignment and the elimination of tension and scar tissue. A lot of women, with C-sections, getting a lot of back pain in later years, an area that we will be working really hard on now, and being able to rent your own device in order to clear that. ATP is increased by up to 500%, which is what actually causes the phenomenal healing rate. So in the case of you doing a hamstring tear, it would be very advisable to get in touch within 24 hours and get yourself onto those machines, and that is what's going to speed up your process. So when people come to the clinic that have various machines on them, an hour of microcurrent can be up to 10 hours of hands-on massage. Okay, that is the equivalent. So we have obviously heavily invested now with the actually the largest base in regards to machines. We will have over 40 machines on site, which is going to allow the customer to be able to avail of a much bigger service as well. So some people think I might be only able to come up twice in the month, and now you can see the figures that twice would actually be potentially up to, we could go as far as saying 70 or 80 sessions of normal manual hand-on therapy. So some people find it hard to believe some of the results, but now we're beginning to see numbers behind it. And another small bit on the FSM here in regards to this will be a much smaller portion of our treatment nowadays, but still a phenomenal addition that we were able to bring in. And finally, as we introduce ourselves to the breathing aspect that we'll touch on in the next video, very straightforward. People often wonder, why do I treat areas of the inner mouth, parts of the base of the skull, and it's all got to do with this. So when we increase and we do this treatment, and we see these phenomenal changes in the facial features, the tension that leaves the face and so on, we talk about cerebrospinal fluid that is able to circulate much freer, and it allows and supports the regulation of blood flow to keep our nervous system healthy. So the cranium itself consists of several bones that articulate together. When we look at an image again in a future video that's coming up, you will see just how important it is if one of those cogs of the wheel essentially breaks, how everything will get thrown off. And most importantly, the cranial sacral rhythm is a rhythm created by our breath, acting as a wave of energy that travels up and down our spinal column. And by doing this and being able to breathe effectively with no previous trauma, no worry, no stress in our bodies, living in the here and now, that is when the body gets the information from the quality of your breath. Okay, so that is why it's so important when we're talking about previous traumas. Essentially, if your rib cage doesn't move, it's because of all of these things. And by the rib cage not moving, you are struggling. You are really going to struggle with a lymphatic system. And I've often heard, and I will say it in this video, an extreme case of people developing conditions in their lymph nodes. I have a massive belief that there is a long-term relationship there from a lack of movement in the rib cage, which is allowing us to not be able to pump our fluids around the body. And we see that the lymphatic system, its job is to remove byproducts in the body, and finally in this video, the thoracic diaphragm is the biggest compensatory muscle in the body. So it is so important to make sure that is moving freely, and that is what the goals of the treatment is. So when your deep flexors in the body contract too much and for too long in order to protect us, we will suffer massively in those areas. And that's a little bit of information, hoping that it helps you understand what we're doing.